Hello, another Heygo rerun. This one is on Pie Day, March 14th, 2023. We both made pies. I made a savory, Aaron made a sweet. They are delicious.
We hope you like it.
Hello.
Oh, I gotta mute my.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our home with a blue wall.
Yeah. Somebody said it's a full house. It is true. It is. I mean, the living room is packed with all of you in there.
That's right. Yeah, we're glad that all of you can fit into our tiny little flat. But we're glad you're here. Welcome to the Upper West Side and to Aaron and Patrick's home.
Sherry's on.
Sherry, you might. I was gonna talk about you today, Sherry. I will in a bit. Sherry's my sister, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know. And hi, Susan. We're glad you're all with us. Sherry, I think this color is new since you've been here last.
Oh yeah, it used to be buttercup yellow.
Yeah.
Susan said, "I wish that we could slow down the chat. We're going to do our best to keep up with it."
Yeah, because there's two of us. We're hoping that that we'll be able to keep up with it while, when one is doing something, the other can kind of try to keep up with the chat.
Tropical breeze, Janice.
Ooh, yeah.
Hi, Natalie. Matthew Michael said it's early in the morning for you. It's not too bad. It's 10 a.m. Just before 10 a.m.
Yeah.
We're not too mad at it.
Well, we're glad you're all with us. Did we do the time and temperature?
Time and temperature. We haven't, but I mean, we usually do it at the top of the tour.
I know, but I just did we check it?
Oh, did we check it?
Do we know what it is?
I know the time.
Okay.
Look at the temperature.
Welcome, one and all. We don't do tours at home all that often. And we're going to show you a new place in our apartment. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because what you don't see before we log on for these at-home tours is the two of us running around just like Tasmanian devils.
I know, that should be a tour in itself. Just set up the camera and be like, no, move that plant.
It's very comical, but we got there and we're going to be cooking from home.
Oh, but we're very excited. We still have about 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes before this tour gets going. I mean, Alex in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about traders. I'm thinking about... Oh, we can't say in case somebody's watching.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Our new favorite obsession. What
in Australia set up all of these at-home cooking tour series, and he did a lot of work.
He did.
He edited. Not only did he set up this whole series for all of us to do these at-home cooking tours, but he also put a video together. He sent us all that were taking part in it. He sent us a script and a line that we should say so that he could edit the video together and make, to promote it. He spent a lot of time to put all of this together. And it really, kudos to him, because that's pretty incredible. And I wish we had the knowledge and know-how to be that technically savvy and how to do all that stuff. But boy, oh boy, thank you to Alex. I doubt he's on because I think it's middle of the night practically, or pretty late where he lives.
So he couldn't wake up at 2 a.m. Matthew and Michael said they won the auction on the app. I'm guessing the coin auction. That's exciting.
That's cool.
And lots of folks tuning in. Somebody said Lindsay said his biscuits were so good yesterday.
Did you make them, Lindsay? Obviously you must have, or you didn't taste them through the Heygo app. That's cool. That's good to know.
Hi,
Robert.
NC said that as well. So we're gonna have to get that recipe.
I know, we'll have to get that. We do love a biscuit.
I have a naive question.
Morning.
Are his biscuits like American biscuits, or are they
or were they cookies?
Or are they cookies? That's a
UK thing.
Somebody answer. That could be a really dumb question. I'm just showing my ignorance.
I know. We both just sounded really dumb.
Cookies. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Cookies. All right.
Oh, yay. Good. Well, certainly we'll have to try them.
All right. Yeah. Oh, Evelyn missed it. It was too early in the morning. Yeah, I mean, you know, God, oh, could you show us a picture of our maybe of Mina we'll put up our recipes in a second.
Yeah. We have about a minute and a half before we get going on the tour. For anybody that might be new to us, this is not a normal tour for us. And if you are new, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're happy that you're here. But this is an unusual at-home, and we've done a couple of at-home tours where we sit in our like living room or dining room. And hi, Patricia, my cousin Patricia's on. But this is the first time that you're seeing our kitchen. So
yeah,
good luck to us all.
And we're a minute away from starting the tour, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't started yet. For anybody, if you happen to be new to us, we usually sign on a few minutes early. And if you're new, again, I just want to repeat that this is not our normal tour. There we go. It's just almost 10, about 10 a.m. Someone asked what time it was.
And if you wonder why I keep ducking away, it's because we have the tour pulled up on my computer because if you don't know, we as guides, we only see about 3 chat boxes at a time. But on the computer, I can see more. Oh, I can go to full screen and see even more, actually. Ooh, winning.
Oh, look at that.
So I'm ducking away to see some of the chat there. Marianne, this is your first tour with us.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for joining us. This is this is not normal for us. Normally we're out and about in New York City, showing off all the greatness that New York City is. But thank you for joining us today. Okay, it's time.
I'm ready. I can cook too. Welcome everybody to the Heygo Guide Food Academy. Welcome to New York. If you're new to us like Marianne, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Patrick.
And we are so happy that you're with us today. It is 1 degree Celsius outside. It is 34 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It is snowing outside, but guess what? We are inside.
That's right.
And we're in our kitchen. We're coming to you live from our kitchen here on the Upper West Side of New York City. Hi, Ronnie Lynn. Hello, chefs. And it is 10 a.m. here in New York. Yes, so there was some discussion about the time we springed forward on Sunday.
Yeah, we originally had scheduled this tour for an hour later, but for those of you that may not know us, Aaron and I both work in theater, and we're both rehearsing the same show, and we had to had a rehearsal, and we had to push the tour an hour earlier. So we're glad that you all made that shift with us. Thanks for joining us, and
some folks have asked about the show. So it's a show called Dear World. It's happening at City Center Encores, which is a pretty big organization here in New York City where they present old musicals that may not have had their fair go the first time around. So this is an old Jerry Herman show, and I'm standing by for 2 of the lead men in case they get sick. I know all their lines and songs, and I'm ready to go on. And Patrick, for a night or two, is playing one of the lawyers. He's covering somebody who got COVID. So he jumped in and learned the whole show in about 8 hours and is jumping in. And it's just kind of, we hardly ever get to work together outside of Heygo.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun that we get to do a show together. But anyway, today's tour is about pie.
That's right.
It's Pie Day.
It's Pie Day.
3.14, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. I gave the time, I gave the temperature.
You can take pictures. Not that you'll want to take that many pictures on this tour. We're not going to be out and about in New York City, but if you want to take pictures, you hit that picture button on your screen, and that photo, that postcard picture will be saved in your Heygo profile. And you can share those with your family or friends and let them know where you've been traveling to. Now, you're only traveling to our kitchen today, so I don't know how many postcards you'll want to take, but feel free to take them.
Gwen says gooseberry or rhubarb. Neither, although if I had to pick, I would go with a strawberry rhubarb.
Yeah.
And a couple people have said, Jill said break a leg. A couple other people said break a leg. But I think you mean in terms of today's tour, Break an egg.
Break an egg, Janet. The show's called Dear World.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we set up?
I think we should. So welcome to our kitchen. We started off in our giant hallway, and by giant hallway, I mean it's a New York teeny tiny hallway. So you are in our kitchen sink right now. Welcome to our kitchen sink. We have you set up right there. You can see there's our lovely little stove back there. And so yeah, would you like to?
Yeah, sorry, we're gonna get going. I'm gonna put on my glasses so I can see. So, all right. So I'm going to make a chicken pot pie. This recipe came from my sister Sherry, who is actually on this tour, and she gifted me this recipe. I'm not sure where she found it, but I have used this recipe for so many people and for us, and it's always a hit. People always love it. It's rich and what do you call it when something
savory?
Yes, savory, and just when you really need. Put pictures in. Aaron just put pictures in, not only
of the recipe.
Of the recipe. Oh, okay. I see what's coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna get going here. So these are the things that you'll need. Do you want to come over and hold the camera?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah. So these are the things that you will need. You will need 2 cups of chicken chopped up. You will need 1 can of chicken stock. Those come in the 14.5 ounce cans. If anybody needs any help with what was the word? Converting from cups to grams or however that works, the metric system, you can just do some
Googling.
Yeah, do some Googling. You'll need 1 onion, a medium-sized onion chopped up. You'll need about 1 cup of celery chopped up. You'll need 1/3 cup of flour. And if anybody asks questions, let me know.
Yeah, well.
You'll need you get the prepackaged crusts that you can bake with. And some milk, what we call the California blend here in the States. It's basically just broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. And some salt, some pepper, and some thyme, parsley, and butter, and a slightly beaten egg. So,
and do you have plenty of time?
Oh my God. So what we're going to do at first is we're going to start with just melting the butter.
Not puff pastry, no, like a good old pie crust, which, you could make. I find it easiest to make in the cuisine art. But we buy it because it's so easy and inexpensive.
So easy. It's, you know what I mean? It's just so easy. Yeah. And anybody that likes making their own crust or likes to, then by all means, make your own crust, have at it, because there's lots of ways to adjust this recipe. There are gluten-free crusts you can try. If you want to substitute other vegetables, by all means, make this yours. But this is what we do. And
should I catch up on a couple things? Melt some butter. Somebody said they're allergic to celery. What could you use instead?
Yeah, you could use another root.
More onions.
Yeah,
I like onions.
Just cut out the celery. You don't need to.
Yeah. And a lot of folks said no peas. Yay, I hate peas. A lot of pot pies do have peas, but you don't put peas in yours.
Yeah, peas, don't put those in there.
Peas, it ruins it. No, more parsnips. Why not? Also, some folks said the recipe gets cut off. Well, if you click on it, it should go to full screen. I'm doing it on my computer and it's working okay. And then you can do a screen capture of it, and you'll have it right there. And I'll put it in periodically. I'll put that recipe in. Absolutely. Somebody also asked about what is this in grams. I encourage you to run to Google for that.
Yeah, by all means.
Tiny brains could only handle so much this
I know that a tablespoon, I think, is 15 grams, but feel free to just Google and convert, do whatever you need to do.
You want me to do some more? Or
sure. By the way, I used 3 tablespoons of butter, so I guess that would be 45 grams of butter to melt.
When I do my recipe, I'm not that fancy. There we go. Some folks are putting in some conversions for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is almost melted. So I'm gonna say that that's melted. And
you're melted.
You're melted. And now we're gonna put in the onion and the celery. All right, and we're going to.
It's gonna smell real good soon.
Yeah, we're gonna cook these. Let these saute for about 3 minutes in this butter. That, oh my gosh, it already smells so good.
Cheryl says, "I love your red pants. Thanks. Those are stove. Oh, let me see.
I thought she said pants. I'm like, I'm not wearing red pants.
These are stove pots up here, if you know those. Conchetta asks, "What's the level of heat?"
Oh, medium heat. Yeah,
medium heat.
I put it on high to melt the butter, but then I moved it back down to medium heat.
Yeah.
For the sauteing.
More like saute. You know what? What temperature is the oven? We're preheating the oven to
350. Preheat the oven to 350.
So while he's doing that, I thought that Robin asked, "Do you already have a pie already made?" Robin,
don't give away secrets.
You can't give away our television secrets. I mean, come on. Thanks, Kat. This one is actually a Mickey themed one. I don't know if it shows up, but it's a colander with Mickey Mouse on it. So while you should I chat a little bit while you're
sure. So we're just gonna let these saute for a few more minutes, and then we'll stir in some the 1/3 cup of flour. We'll gradually stir that in and let it kind of mix in slowly. Yeah.
Wait, somebody said the recipe temperature says 400, which would be my fault if I did I type it wrong?
I probably told you. Did I?
400.
Yeah, it's 400.
Oh, but is that right?
I think 400 is right.
Oh, okay, 400's right. 400's right.
Who knew that?
Well, I put it in. It's in the recipe, so they saw the recipe.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you put it in right in the recipe.
It's correct.
Thank you for catching that. Whoever caught that. Yes, 400.
Yeah, it is correct. By the way, we should give a shout out to. We don't have too many guides in Greece, but we've had some guides go to Greece, and I'm giving that shout out because that's where pot pies originated. I think it's called Artocreas, which is probably incorrect the way I'm wording it. But they were the first ones to kind of take a pot, put meat in it, and put a pastry shell over it. And then sorry, you ready for your next thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll keep going. And then the Romans kind of turned it more into a pot pie. And then the 16th century, that's when we started to see the Brits kind of have a resurgence with these pies, these classic meat pies, basically. And they started to put decorative features on top. I'll keep going.
I'm ready. So we're going to pull the camera over here so we can kind of see what we're doing.
Here we go. More on pot pies coming soon.
Okay, so we've let the onions and the celery cook a little bit. So now I'm going to stir this 1/3 cup of flour. I'm just going to put this in gradually and just sort of let it stir in. Not all. I usually do a little bit at a time, just because if you do it all at once, it's sort of like is one big clumpy pile of flour. So I'll put a little bit in and then stir a little bit and then add a little bit more, and then that mixes in nicely with the butter. It helps mix it in a little easier. It makes mixing it in easier, if that makes sense. So there, all of our flour is in now. So I'm just going to get this all nice and coated.
Neil's right. Neil says no pork pie hats. That was a missed opportunity in our part.
Oh my gosh.
Neil.
How did we miss that? Okay, so now what we're doing here is here is the chicken stock. You just put one can of chicken stock, which is about 14.5 ounces for us here in the States. You can do that converting. And then you're going to add enough milk to make about 2.5 cups. Fill it up to be 2.5 cups. You're going to add a little bit of pepper. The recipe calls, I think, for a quarter teaspoon of pepper and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, if you're like me, you just sort of like measure the salt in your hand, but it's 1/2 teaspoon. So I just sort of gauge a little bit. And you can make that to taste. Some people like more pepper or less pepper.
Thank you, Donna.
So then we're going to take this mixture and start adding it to
our RuPaul, to our Rue McClanahan,
to our mixture here. And then we're going to add this in, and then we will continue stirring this. So this is the sort of the tedious part of this recipe. You have to continually stir this until it thickens and boils. You'll start to, obviously you'll know when it's starting to boil. But this is the part that takes the longest. Now I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit, just to kind of make this process happen a little quicker. But you'll really want to keep this, if you can, keep this on a medium heat. Continually stir this until it thickens up. And as soon as I'm going to stir this, and then as soon as it thickens up, I'll let you know, and then we can move on to the next step. But
Sherry said you're doing a fine job.
Oh yeah, I'm sweating, Sherry. I'm literally sweating.
Both of us drenched. Also, Mariella asked, how do we cook at home, and how do we both find the time? Yeah, the truth is, we do cook at home, and in large reason because we are frugal, because New York is expensive, so we don't order in very much, or go out much. Ronnie Lynn says, do we still have pizza in our freezer? That's from our pizza tour. No, it's all gone. We ate it all. But we do cook at home. The chicken pot pie is something Patrick makes. Honestly, he makes it for us every now and then, but he makes it a lot more for, like, if we have a friend who might be, homebound, or if we have company coming over.
We give it to friends, or, or take it to, if we need to take a dish somewhere, we'll take this.
Natalie asks, what's our favorite grocery store? I think Trader Joe's.
I was going to say, let's say it at the count of three.
Oh.
Yeah, Trader Joe's for sure. It's the most affordable, and the product is good.
Yeah. But I also like Aldi enormously as well. Shoshana said, you're not wearing an apron to protect your clothes. We'll get him an apron, Shoshana. we'll rectify that situation.
Now this is starting to thicken up, but I'm going to wait a little bit. You just continually stir it until it gets nice and thick, and you also want it to boil. All right, you're right. This is a nice shirt, so I should have it.
Somebody also asked about, do we ever shop at Zabar's? You know what? We go to Zabar's more for gifts, honestly. Zabar's is an Upper West Side grocery store institution, which we'll be showing on our Upper West Side tour that's coming up in a couple of weeks, by the way. And so we go there for, that's right, Cheryl, it's like a German company, right, that owns both Aldi and Trader Joe's. But it makes sense that we would like both, because they're, quite similar. I know Mike asked, where's our chef hats? We actually talked to Patrick this morning, was like, why don't we have chef hats? And we really should have chef hats. Oh, thank you, Marianne. That's a sweet comment. And yes, when cooking at home, you know what's in your food, Joan. Yeah. You know what's so funny? We did a food plan a couple of years ago, which if you've been on our tours quite a bit, we talk about it every now and then, called Whole30. And that was one of the first, I hate to sound naive, but it was one of the first eye-opening experiences where I realized how much sugar is in everything, including like a can of tomatoes. And so, yeah, when you're cooking at home, you know what's
so I just want to show you that this is thickening up really nicely here. You can see that it's even bubbling and boiling a little bit. So now I think we're ready to put the rest of our ingredients in. So we'll put the California blend vegetables in. There we go. And
sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm mad you didn't call it a California medley, because I had a California medley ready.
Here's our chicken that's going in. My gosh.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
So we'll mix all of that in. And we're also going to put in a teaspoon of parsley. And, get it open.
Yes, Donna. Yeah, the chicken is already cooked. We cooked it yesterday, actually. Honestly, do you want to talk about what we usually do?
Yeah, what I usually do is I buy a rotisserie chicken, and I find, so that's a teaspoon of parsley, and I'm about to put a half teaspoon of thyme in.
Because you can never
if
have
I could
time.
turn back time. Yeah, I normally buy a rotisserie chicken because I feel like it's flavored so well already. and that's the chicken I normally use. Yesterday we bought some chicken breasts and seasoned them ourselves, and then and cut them up. But that's 2 cups of chicken that you want to have cut up for the chicken pot pie. Now I'm going to set this aside, stir all that in nicely, set this aside, and
somebody says needs sage and rosemary. Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Who doesn't love a good herb? We usually, honestly, we usually get the rotisserie chicken at Costco. Like we just said, we said earlier, you all are in our kitchen sink right now. So that's what the clank was. Patrick was throwing stuff in the sink. You're sitting in our sink, basically. Thanks, Elizabeth. But we love to get the chicken at Costco, and then we'll use the carcass, and we'll make stock out of the carcass. So you kind of get a double your pleasure out of that Costco chicken. Which, I read an article that Costco's chicken, they take a loss profit-wise.
Yeah.
But because they're so popular, it's a way to get people into the store, and they put it in the back of the store, and you shop on your way there. Sorry.
Yeah. So now I just want to put the camera over here.
Oh, yeah.
So I took the first pastry.
Terrible camera.
I used 2 pastry shells. The first one I roll out to be a little bit larger. And these are pre-made, which are fine. But if you like to make your own crust, then go for it.
Diane told us our fridge door is open. You're right. Thanks, Diane. Patrick just got it. You don't flour the surface? You don't need to?
I don't. I mean, because this crust is, if I was making my own dough, I would. But you can see it just comes right up. So this recipe does not call for a bottom crust, but I like to put one on just because I like it to be more like a pie. There's
Jill, cauliflower, broccoli, and carrots. Again, normally there's one we love at Costco that we use that's really called the Normandy blend, but California blend is what Patrick gets the most when we're in the city.
So I put that bottom crust in, and then I just add our mixture that we've thickened up nicely. Just make that in.
Yeah.
Pour that deliciousness into the center of the pie. Get out of there.
Delicious.
And so then I just sort of like smooth this over so that it's a nice pie filling, and then I take our second pie crust, and
again, you can make your own at home.
Yeah. You can make your own pie crust, and if you are excellent at pie crust making, then go for it. Or if you just like your own better.
Agreed, Lorna. Comfort food at its best. A chicken pot pie, really kind of any meat pie, is the best. Let's see. Oh, somebody said, do you bake the bottom? Do you bake the bottom first?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I will put the bottom crust in the oven for like 5-10 minutes prior, and then I'll take it out and then put the filling in. So that it's, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, I definitely do that.
Also, the recipe doesn't call for the bottom crust, right?
Correct. The recipe is just the top crust only. I like to put that on, just for, because I like, oh my gosh, I like an actual like pie, like, when you cut it up.
Yeah, and who doesn't like more crust?
Okay, so you want to?
Oh, like you.
All right, so then we add this. I rolled that second top layer out, and then you just put little indentations all around.
Agreed, Kathleen. Yes, Carly. Carly says like a little blanket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, what I like to do is after this, you can cut off the edges around the pie plate, and then you'll have some excess dough. And then you can use that excess dough to make a little design or whatever you want. Sometimes if I'm taking this to friends, I'll just make their initials out of the extra dough that's around. So just really quickly, I'll just make make an A and P or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Somebody also recommended a pie sign.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
want to do a pie sign for Pie Day.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I put into the chat a couple of designs that Patrick has done before. I'll do it again, and I'm going to put the recipe in again as well. I just try to keep posting the recipe periodically. If I see somebody mention it, I'll throw it in again. Yeah, so those are some of the previous designs, which now when I look at it in the chat, they look quite comical. NC says cute designs. So while Patrick's making the next design, so I'll kind of go back to a little bit more about the pot pie. So the Brits then, sort of brought it back into fashion, and these designs that Patrick is doing, they were oftentimes, that was a way to show the skills chefs in the royal households, and they would have these really fancy designs. Ours are not quite as fancy as I say ours. Patrick's, I never make the pot pie. Patrick does. But the Brits were quite fond of birds, so we started to see a lot more bird meat coming in. They would use chicken peepers, which was tiny chicks stuffed with gooseberries, and
okay,
sorry,
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Back to Patrick.
But now that we've made our design with the extra crust, you take a loosely beaten egg, and you'll just want to brush the top of the crust, with the whole thing. Because that'll help it get nice and brown. You want to give that a nice coating. I feel like I'm on a talk show. You'll want to give this a really nice coating with the egg brush.
Back to you, Al, for more on the
weather.
By
the way, we are not cooks or chefs or anything. This is just stuff that we do for ourselves. Oh my God.
This is some leftover pie dough, by the way. Pie pastry dough.
We'll hit this pretty nice and hard with the egg brush.
I like that technical term.
Yeah, we're gonna hit this pretty hard with the egg brush. That's how the chefs say it. And then one more thing that we'll want to do is, of course, you'll want to cut some slits in the pie to get some air.
A little bit of venting action.
Yeah, so it can vent.
Whole egg or just yellow? Somebody asked. And for your egg wash.
Oh, the whole. I didn't use the whole egg, but yes, the whole egg.
Yeah, egg white and the yolk.
Yeah, the whole egg.
Yeah.
You'll loosely beat that egg, and then brush that with.
Donna, you're too sweet. Robin says, which one of you does the most cooking? Usually I do.
Aaron does the most. So now we're gonna put this in the oven that has been preheated to 400. Okay.
Ooh, it's going in the. Oh, I'm bad with the camera. It's going in the oven.
And then.
Oh my God! Here we go. It's done already.
So then here is what your final pie will look like. This one I did yesterday. I don't know if is that reading backwards?
Maybe.
It might be.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
it's right. I can see it on our screen. Yeah.
So here's yeah. So that's classic chicken pot pie that we make from time to time.
What amazes me is that you put the pie logo on the pie, but when it comes out of the oven, it said Heygo. This is what's incredible is that you'll put it in one way and it'll come out a whole other way, but still.
Yeah, that's the magic of New York City. Okay, so moving on. Now we're going to go to dessert. So you'll have a yummy, delicious chicken pot pie. And now we're moving on to fudge pie.
All right, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Your part's over.
I'm sweating.
You get to relax now. Now I have to jump in.
Honey, you're on.
So first of all, I'm going to make fudge pie. I'm going to post it into the chat. And I'll chat a little bit about the fudge pie before I get going. I'll put the recipe in a couple of times. But fudge pie, I think in large part became popular throughout the South. I think it was first sort of seen in recipe books around the turn of the century, like early 1900s. But I think by the mid apron, that's right, Beverly, we got to switch it up. We only have one apron. By the mid 1900s, by the 50s, I think you really then started to see it as a staple at church potlucks, family reunions, you know, those kinds of dinners, which is where we really, as a family, always had it. My mom always made this pie for family reunions. Not so much family reunions, because our family reunion was in the summer, and this is more like a rich wintry pie.
I just someone asked if you had needed eggs for the fudge pie. I just put that recipe back in.
And yeah, I mean, could there be substitutes? Maybe. Do we know those? We're bad at that. So
yes, I'm sure there are egg substitutes you can buy at the store.
Use, absolutely. So we trust you to make those rather than us say, try this, because we've never tried it. We trust you to make those conversions on your own. But yeah, after church potluck is really where, honestly, my mom would make it for, we had chicken suppers at our church, where like fundraisers and soup and chili fundraisers. And, you know, all the ladies would make the pies, and they would cut the pies on the far end of the church fellowship hall. And they had this cart that they would bring the cart to the chicken dinner or the chili dinner, and you could pick your pie from the cart that you had as dessert. And I always would help with the pie cutting because I could get a bigger piece of the pie. I could cut a bigger.
Is it more of like a fudgy pie or like a pudding pie?
More fudgy. So here, think brownie, think souffle, soufflier. Think almost, it's gonna have like almost like a crackly top to it, like almost like creme brulee-esque top to it. It's really simple, and it doesn't take long to put it together. What else do I have to say? Oh, the other thing I will say about it is, for any of you that know the book The Help or the movie The Help, I think it's essentially the pie that Minnie in the book was known for. Now, in the book, she became known for it in an infamous way. This is the more delicious way. And exactly, Kat is saying in the chat what it is. I won't say it aloud because I don't want to ruin our spirits here in the kitchen. But I think it's essentially the pie that Minnie was known for, but the good version of it. So I'm going to move your pie, if that's all right.
Yeah.
And look at this, because careful, it's hot. Ow. Straight out of the oven. And I'm going to go over here.
Yeah. I move that stuff.
Well, it can be there.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to begin with butter. For those of you that don't know, I did Mrs. Doubtfire the musical, and we had a whole line. Everything is butter with a little bit of butter, but it's better not to burn it. If you burn it, then it's better. You want to make a little butter better? Oh, you want to have a little... Oh, gosh, I can't remember. It was a year ago. But that first line, I love it so much. Everything is better with a little bit of butter, but it's better not to burn it. If you burn it, then it's bitter. You want to have a better, make the better. Better not to... Oh, I can't... It's been a year. But anyway, we're starting with butter. We're starting with a half a stick of butter, 4 tablespoons, because everything is better with a little bit of butter, but it's better not to burn it. If you burn it, then it's bitter. Now, we're going to melt the butter. I like to put it on like a lowish heat because I don't want it to burn or... Exactly, Judith Ann, come on. I don't want it to burn or get too brown because this isn't about browning the butter. This is just about melting it. Oh, Diana asked about the red countertop, and I think Ken and Tammy asked about that earlier. It's honestly a vintage piece that we found in Queens, in Astoria, years ago, probably 10 years ago. And it's just a little vintage. I wish I could say where it came from, but and somebody else asked about Fiesta ware.
Oh, yeah. We use Fiesta ware. We love it. We took off the door to that, so our Fiesta ware you could see it all colorful and...
Now, here's what I will say about this melting of the butter is I think that you could probably do this in the microwave and speed up the process. But I don't because Mom didn't. So you do it, Mom.
That's right.
Mom did,
That's right.
Because you know that it comes out correctly. So again, you could probably do this in the microwave and speed it up. But I do it on the stovetop because this is the only thing we're going to do on the stovetop is the butter aspect. So while the butter is melting, I think we should take a little bit of time to also talk about the history of pie, because it is Pi Day, after all, as you can see on our little chalkboard.
Is that on there?
So it is I think it is. Yeah, it's there.
Oh, yeah.
It's the 16th letter of the Greek alphabet, the symbol for the letter P. But mathematically speaking, it is the ratio of the circumference of any circle to the diameter of that circle. Regardless of the circle size, the ratio will always equal pi.
And how do you measure a circle?
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you putting me on the spot while I'm cooking with math? But that comes to 3.14, which ultimately is, if you put that in date form, March 14th. Thus we have
Pi Day. Isn't the actual pi number, isn't it much longer?
Oh yeah,
it's really just we say 3.14 because those are the first two numbers.
Yeah,
but it really goes on and on and on.
Yeah, like to 18 decimal places, it's 3.141592653589793238. Just saying. All right, so I turned the heat off. I'm gonna move out. Your pie's hot.
Oh, sorry.
Ow.
Wink.
I'm gonna move back here. Should I stay over here or should I go over there? You pick as the cameraman.
You go over here. So we give them a new view.
Okay. New view, baby. Okay, so we're coming back over here. I'm bringing my recipe with me. So don't mess it up.
Kathleen said you can remember that, but you couldn't remember the butter song.
Kathleen, I know. Everything is better with a little bit of butter, but it's better not to burn it. If you burn it, that's better. Bitter. You want to make it better not to. That's the line I can't remember. You want to make it better not to. Better. Let me see. Better. Let me show you how to do it right now.
Okay.
Anyway.
We're done with that.
Better do it right now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to slowly stir in our sugar and our cocoa. We have a 1 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. So I think, is that also castor sugar? What do our UK friends call granulated sugar? Not powdered sugar, not brown sugar, but the lovely,
Castor, okay, yeah.
Is castor finer than granulated? Oh, some are granulated. You say granulated.
Oh, okay,
some say castor. Okay. Sorry. So
okay.
1 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. Then we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder.
Yes.
I prefer the Dutch processed because it's just richer. So I use that. So we have 3 tablespoons of that. So we're going to put that in, and now you're going to just stir it. Mom always said, never beat this recipe. Just stir it. And I'll stir it a little bit, and then I'll come over and show you what it looks like kind of all stirred up.
I believe you, Shoshana. I believe that. Okay, bye, Queen Ariel.
Thank you for coming to our home. Okay, so a little bit more stirring. This, by the way, is, and we'll mention this again once we bake it, but it's really good, I think, with a dollop of vanilla ice cream or whipped cream. So here's what it's going to look like. So it's kind of almost like dirt or sand. This is not going to be smooth. It's going to be a little bit sandy when you get to this point. Thanks, Jillian. And then at this point, now we're going to stir in our eggs. So the eggs, we need 2 eggs beaten. Now, this is how you beat the eggs. Patrick, if you could pan up. You take 1 in each hand and you go, like that. That's how you beat the eggs. If you've never cooked before, you just do it like that.
Or you can also be like, bad egg.
Okay, no. So here we go. This is the legitimate way. I'm just going to crack it open. Here's a question. Who scrapes their eggs out? Do you do that, Patrick?
I do not.
That was something my mom always taught me. Because there's still good bits on the inside of your shell. So you do a little bit of a, scrapey scrape. Do you all do that? Some say nope, some say I do. I think it's right down the middle of who does and who doesn't. The only thing is it does make your fingers messy, so I had to do a little wipe there. So now I like to beat with not a whisk, but a little fork. I always think that's a little bit better. And everything's better with a little tiny fork. All right, so we're going to just beat our eggs a little bit. And then now we'll stir those, the 2 beaten eggs into our little sort of dirt-looking mixture of our sand and our cocoa. right here. You're much better at the camera than I was. I was too excitable about the whole thing.
I was like, can you bring the camera?
I know. He was not happy with my camera work. All right. Oh, see, that's really good. You're really good. Like, I'm watching the screen instead of what I'm doing because it's really interesting. Okay, so then we kind of mix this in again. Stir. Do not beat. Mom would bop you on the hand if you beat it. Just a good stir. Remove the white. Oh, interesting, Joan. You know, I saw Ina Garten. She always says you should crack your eggs into a bowl before you crack them into the recipe. I think it's Ina. Because what if your egg is rotten? Then you have a rotten egg in your batter and you have to start again. But honestly, I've been baking for years. I've never had that happen. So I don't do it. I guess I'm lazy that way. Okay, so our next thing is we're going to add milk and vanilla. Now, this is a half a cup of evaporated milk, which I've already measured out into a lovely mason jar from Fishezetti, for those of you that have been with us to Fishezetti before, the dish store. But so this is a half a cup of evaporated milk going in. And then we're also going to, ooh, this is looking delicious. And then we're also going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. So I have our lovely Mickey Mouse teaspoon. So here we go. Oops, overflowed. Doesn't everybody overflow vanilla? Is it just me? It's like vanilla and garlic are the two things that you're like, that's just a suggestion. A teaspoon is just it's like, I feel like it's the same with garlic. They're like two, a half a teaspoon of garlic. You're like, okay. I'll give you a teaspoon. Okay, so again, you know the drill. Don't beat, just stir. And it's going to look a little sort of weird and like it's not coming together. And then at the last minute, it'll come together oh so nicely.
Someone asked if they could see the spoon again.
There it is. Yeah, we have a set of, we do like Disney, but in our kitchen, you've seen a couple Disney things, but it's not like we have a Disney kitchen. It just so happens we have a couple of Disney things. So it starts to come together, and it's going to look like a brownie mix when it comes together, like that kind of, if you were to make a brownie, batter is what I should say, brownie batter, although not quite as thick, a little bit soupier. So just a little bit soupier than a brownie batter. I'm just going to stir it just a tiny bit more. And then we'll get ready. So this whole time we've been preheating our oven to 400 degrees. 400 degrees. We've been preheating it to. And I'm just tidying up a couple dirty dishes.
Yep.
And then I made this pie shell. Look how beautiful my work is.
Oh my gosh.
It's like so pristine.
Okay. Now, I smell a rat. So those are pre-purchased pie shells that we have. By the way,
it's so rude. You're so rude. Yeah, again, time and laziness factored in. But yeah, you could certainly make your own pie crust, put it in your own pie plate. Part of it, honestly, was that we only have 2 pie plates. So, and because the chicken pot pie is heavier, it needs the pie plate. So, and it's, I mean, I hate to say it, it's just quite so easy. It's just so quite so easy to buy the pre-made one. Okay, so then we're just going to dump it in. Look at this. Oh, it looks like delicious hot fudge going in. Okay, here we go. Get every last bit, because why waste? Okay, who licks the batter?
I do.
The spatula, the spoon? Who does that? Okay, raise your hand if you do. Yep, some thumbs up. Yep, same. I mean, I know I probably shouldn't, but it feels like a waste of a sweet. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm gonna give it a little lick. Delicious. Okay, I think it's time to go in the oven. Let's show it before it goes in. It's gonna be, let me just show you, like, it's gonna be a little soupy. So here we go. I can get the door.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, it's going in. Ooh, hot. So hot. So it goes in the oven. Now, here's the trick. It's going to go in the oven for 10 minutes at 400. When you're, by the way, I made my house slippers. Then after 10 minutes, you lower the heat to 350. And Rosie, how dare you see our secrets? Do you just have raw pie sitting in there now? So you lower the heat for 10 minutes, and then, or after 10 minutes, excuse me, and then you cook it for another 20 to 30 minutes. Here's what I'm going to say. It always takes a little bit longer. It depends on your oven.
It did last night. You kept having to like 5 more.
What do you mean last night? But yeah, it does. The other thing I will say about this pie is that the best way to make this, Mom always said, and I think so too, triple the recipe, but put it into 2 pie shells because it's kind of a thin pie. So triple the recipe and put it into 2 pie shells. Yeah, let me put that in the chat again. So here it comes. And then you can, give one away or eat 2 or, I have to get my oven mitts on.
Yeah. You don't want to get burned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never.
Guess what? It's done. 40 minutes later. Okay, so here we go. Ow, 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 ow.
Yay!
There's the fudge pie. Oh my goodness. I think we should cut them and try them.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to? I'll cut mine over here.
Okay.
Yours over there.
All right.
And you weren't ready for that part. Oh, we have to show the insides.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get our pie scooper as well. I'm pretty sure that's the correct term.
Yeah, a pie scooper.
Which I can't find. So we'll use maybe it's over here. Okay. We'll use that one for you. I'll get my fudge pie one ready.
Okay.
So while we're getting this ready, we are 2 of the American guides. We are doing pies because it's Pie Day. Somebody just asked a question. How long do you let them cool before you serve? Excellent question, Christine. The fudge pie, you should let it sit for a little bit because it won't be set when you pull it out. So you're going to want to let it set for just a little bit, and then you can serve it warm. We always served it at room temperature with, of course, a dollop of ice cream.
I'm just going to show you the final finished product. So here's that chicken pot pie with its yummy, delicious filling.
And don't they always say when you're cutting pie, the trick is to cut more than one piece because it'll come out cleaner when you cut. If you're cutting more than one piece, it comes out cleaner.
So we should each have 2 pieces.
Yeah, exactly. But wait, what was I talking about? Now I forgot. I broke the crust on yours, Patrick. So It didn't. That my theory was false. Hold on, I'm gonna get the other one ready so it looks a little bit nicer.
Okay. So we are ready. Patrick made a chicken pot pie. Yes, I made a chicken. Anybody who may have showed up late, I made a chicken pot pie. The girl in the fridge. Oh, that's some of all of those pictures are like family and nieces and nephews and friends. Okay.
Here is the fudge pie, and I'll do a side view so you can see what it looks like. So you can see it's almost like a brownie, but a little bit like this isn't like a cream pie. It's like brownie souffle-ish. Yeah. Should we give it a try?
Yeah.
We should go you first, right? Savory.
Yeah.
First. Okay. So
we're gonna sample the chicken pot pie. Aaron. Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
Chocolate chess pie. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to eat with my mouth full, but yeah, I think it's quite similar. A chocolate chess pie. This is really good.
So good. Listen, I have to thank my sister Sherry one more time. She's the one who gave me this recipe, and I use this recipe all the time. And Sherry is on the tour today, or she was. She may have had to scooch, but aren't those the best recipes? You know, when you get recipes from family or good friends, and you get to make them, you always think of that person. You know, when you get to make that dish, and I love that. We haven't actually discussed this, but I love today that we both chose recipes from, you know, very special family members, and you know, this is, I don't know if this is the right time, but I'm going to say this anyway. I both of our mothers are no longer here on this earth, and I never got to meet Aaron's mom. Beth was her name, and but when I go to visit his family, you know, I every time anyone brings up her name or tells a story about Aaron's mom, I stop everything I'm doing and I just soak in every story and a piece of information I can, because it's wild when when people tell stories about her. They'll be telling you know, these great stories, and I think you're describing Aaron. You know, so I know that in many ways I do feel like I got to know your mom, because every time people tell stories about her.
She was much cooler, by the way. I will say that she was much cooler. She was a better baker, and she knew how to read every single person in the best possible way. She understood them, every person she met, which was remarkable. But you know what? I think it's interesting you bring up that we chose to do these sort of family recipes, because when we were looking at what we could do, you know, we're two of the American guides, and I would say, you know, burgers and fries are sort of like probably the top of what is American food. Kathy, agreed. Kathy K in the chat knew her very, very well. And yeah, she was. But you probably make this fudge pie, Kathy. I bet you do. I would be shocked if you didn't. But burgers and fries was top of the list. But you know, that's so easy and not interesting. And so much of American food is delicious, but like there's fried chicken, there's apple pie, hot dogs, chocolate chip cookies, grilled cheese, ice cream, donuts. These are kind of all things that we would think of as, yeah, but a little bit on the pedestrian side. Exactly, Queen Bee. Yeah. So we thought better to do something that is passed on through our families while still very American. You know, even though pot pies kind of come from Europe, it's still very much an American thing. And in fact, you still see them to this day in comfort food restaurants all over the country. Fudge pie, I hardly ever see fudge pie.
I'm gonna put the recipes for anybody, because we're putting the recipes in the chat, but the chat might be scrolling by. So I'm gonna put up. Here is the chicken pot pie recipe for anybody that may want to. Let's see. Can you get all of that in there? If you would take a screen capture, a postcard picture of that, then you'll have that to go back to. That's the chicken pot pie, and then here is the fudge pie recipe. So if you get that, then you can look at that later. We put the recipes in the chat a few times, but I know it scrolls by, and then you have to go back and search for it. So hopefully you got those screen captures. And oh yeah,
do you want to try the fudge pie?
Yeah.
So now here's the rule for fudge pie and any dessert: you get the smallest utensil you have, because then it feels like you're getting more dessert. So I got our tiny forks for the pie.
We should have used the little Mickey Mouse one.
Oh, that's right. So here's the fudge pie.
Oh God, it's like a gooey, chewy brownie.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So somebody said no whipped cream. Yeah, I agree, Dave. Yeah, normally I would put a dollop of ice cream on this. Yes, Christine, normally this would be fully a la mode, or some whipped cream. I prefer ice cream, but or some whipped cream. But for our tour purposes, we wanted to have a clean canvas for
Yeah.
you all to see. Look at that crust on the bottom. Didn't I do a nice job? Nuts. Yeah. Some people add walnuts or pecans to the fudge pie. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jill, it is gluten-free. In fact, we make this for our friend MK, who's gluten-free. And we just get a gluten-free crust instead. Yeah. So, and yeah, you can add nuts. I personally, I don't like nuts in my baking. I like a bowl of nuts, but in my baking, not as much.
Yeah, so feel free to adjust these recipes to suit you. If there's certain things that you don't like, you know, try substituting something else. If you don't like broccoli, put something a different vegetable in the chicken pot pie. And let us know how it goes.
Mickey's adding bourbon. I mean,
that's kind of brilliant.
You could use bourbon instead of the vanilla in the fudge pie.
Mm-hmm.
You could put that in. It would probably give it another little fun zing in there. Thank you all for joining us today from our home, from our little tiny New York kitchen. We have our next tours are this weekend. On, let's see, Saturday morning, I believe we are in Union Square. Is that Saturday? I'm double checking. Yeah, Saturday is Union Square. And then on Sunday, we are in Central Park for our Central Park 2 tour. Now, one thing I will say about Central Park is, sorry, do you need to catch up on something?
No. I'm just trying to.
Yep.
On this.
One thing about Central Park that I will say is that we are very close to peak cherry blossom season because things are a little bit earlier. So we're pre-peak. So we're hoping that on Sunday we might see some bursts of color on that tour. So I can't guarantee that yet. There is one section of Central Park that has burst already, but the section we're doing on Sunday is just a little bit prior. So fingers crossed. Kathleen says, yeah, they're about to go in DC. Yeah. So we're pretty close. I will also say, just a heads up, there are a few tours next week that I think are going to get rescheduled. So apologies in advance. I think our tours on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday might get rescheduled. So just a heads up about that. But we'll put those back in and we'll send a note about that at all.
Someone asked to see the chicken pot pie one more time. So there it is.
Oh.
Heygo.
Hey, go eat a pie. So happy Pie Day.
Happy Pie Day, everyone. Rosie asked how long we've been together. We met in 2010, Rosie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we've been married for 6 years, a little over 6 years now at this point. Joanna says it's snowy. We're getting some flurries, just a little bit of flurries outside our window. I don't think we're going to get too much, though. I have a feeling it'll be more rain than snow that we have. That's all I have.
Thanks for joining us. We love doing these tours. And it's gotten us through the last couple of years. So thank you. We'll leave you. Put your pie over here next to my pie.
Okay.
They can be pie friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll leave you with a shot of the two pies. Of course, that's the chicken pot pie and the fudge pie that we made today. So thanks so much for joining us, everyone. We'll see you soon.